This is the story you've heard about, talked about. The spine-tingling, blood-chilling story that stuns your emotions. Frankenstein.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Dr. Frankenstein! Are you all right?
My name is Frankenstein!
Everyone knows something about Frankenstein. The archetype horror movie monster, subject of countless retellings, imitations and parodies from Boris Karloff to Gene Wilder and beyond. But what about the birth of the story, which is now seen as perhaps the first horror novel, the first work of what would become known as science fiction, and for today's readers, still one of the most thought-provoking tales about artificial intelligence? As we'll hear, Frankenstein was born not in a mad scientist's laboratory, but in a genteel villa on the outskirts of genteel Geneva. On this podcast, I go in search of reminders that Frankenstein is a child of the city I now call home, and I speak to a couple of superfans of the book along the way.
Frankenstein is a profoundly geographical novel, and of course it ends up in the North Pole and it goes to Scotland, but it's very much focused on Geneva and the Alps, and that was all to do with Mary Shelley's state of mind when she was here writing it.
Author Catherine Fearns, like me, an expat Brit living in Geneva, joins me to contemplate what the monster really looked like.
I think he's supposed to be really scary looking and horrific. And that's a wonderful contrast with how eloquent he is. He's by far the most intelligent character in the book.
And as the retelling of Frankenstein goes on, we meet another author who's just published her fictionalised version of how Mary Shelley, at just 18 and hanging out with rakish romantic poets Byron and Shelley on a fateful holiday on the shores of Lake Geneva, created a monster.
In Dutch we say a droste effect. It's like an image inside an image, inside an image, inside an image. And that's like what this feels like. You've got Mary Shelley, who is writing Frankenstein, which is also a sort of a birth itself, like Dr. Frankenstein gave birth to the monster. And there I am giving birth to a story about Mary Shelley, who's giving birth. That felt really good to do.
This is a podcast about birth and death and everything in between and beyond. Join me in Geneva in the footsteps of Frankenstein.
The greatest single contribution to science since the creation of fire!